Forecast 2013.
Happy New Year, everybody, and it is 2013, and we're just going to do a short forecast on what we probably can expect as far as trends this coming year. Just prior to New Year's Eve, we will have then seen a full moon, and on the 28th, and it's powerful in itself, not just because it's a full moon, but it's kind of concluding some eclipses that we had earlier. And it's powerful also in the sense that it's getting very close to that Sun-Pluto conjunct there on December 30th. So put all of these bodies together, full moon, Sun, and Pluto. It's just a lot of energy pushing forward, pushing through, rebirthing itself, kind of casting some shell off, so to speak. So whatever has been simmering below the surface is going to come up and out. So pay attention to those days. And as we enter into the new year, I'd like to start with the outer planets when we do this kind of long-term forecast. Why? Because the outer planets move so slowly that it takes time for these trends to kind of come in. It's all about a consciousness shift, if you wish. Whereas the daily planets, our personal planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, Saturn, that they move so quickly that it's more like on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month type basis. So we're going to come back to that on your solar scopes. But let's take a look at the bigger picture. What has happened and what are we expecting? Well, Neptune is currently now in Pisces. It made that shift here in 2012. We've only been scratching the surface though, because it just entered those first few degrees and then it retrograded back into Aquarius. And those early Pisceans have felt a direct hit on their suns, as did you early Virgos would have a direct hit by opposition, and also you Geminis and Sagittarius as well. So you've all had that little taste, but now we'll start seeing how it's going to manifest as it starts moving direct and start taking on more hold into Pisces. That said, Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, so it's really comfortable there in that energy. It's like a double whammy. And Neptune rules hopes and dreams and wishes and vision and creativity and spirituality, other dimensional energies. Clairvoyance and psychic energy. It really rules our higher chakras. Pisces have had this, so they're naturally born with it. For it to come home is absolutely going to be opening more dimensions for them. What we will see for people at large is that you will all be affected by Neptune in Pisces. Even people who are normally skeptic and very earthbound will start feeling this energy sifting through and opening up more of their own sensitivity and their own sense of clairvoyance. It's like lifting the veil. And what is really beautiful is that today we have technology that can register some of this on the other side of the veil. We get more and more sensitive equipment that can measure say orbs, which are not physical, but we can see them, and now our cameras pick up on them because they develop better and better lenses. Same thing with look at the ghost hunters there. They're getting more and more equipment to capture things on EVP and so forth, things that our physical ears can't capture or visual eyes can't capture. We're getting better equipment, and this has come from Neptune's journey in Aquarius, which is all things technology. We've gone through a huge revolution in the fields of technology. So let's just jump back in time to see what Neptune did as it went through Aquarius. So 1998, Neptune entered Aquarius. We've been there until now, 2012. What have we seen? We've seen this huge revolution in technology. Suddenly the world became one, And that oneness is a Neptunian factor. Neptune always understands that we're all psychically connected. We're all this one super consciousness. We only have the illusion of being separate. Neptune melds together. So what did it do? Neptune went into Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, which is all new inventions and genius streaks, and it rules the internet. So globally, we shrunk. We became one world and one heart, which is Neptune. So we have fulfilled that, and it's like today all information is instantaneous. We have a question, we Google it. We have a new concept, we Google it. Neptune is also everything visual, movies. So think about that too. We got web cameras, we got YouTube. Look at us, we're communicating here globally through our technology, which was impossible years before. So this is what we've harvested. Other benefits that we've harvested is software with genius thinking. Today, musicians can create their own music from their laptop. They can master it. They don't have to send it out to have it mastered. One little sound file will cost thousands of dollars. Now you can even master your own music files. And the same thing goes with video. We have video software where we can be the producer of it, the director of it. In the past, in order for Neptune to hit the screens, we had to go through Universal Studios, Paramount, Columbia, and it cost millions of dollars to see this magic illusion on the big screens. And we still love that. We still love going to the theater. But the thing is today is that you can have your own record label. You can create your own films. That's the thing the software has been giving us. So, and now that we've kind of come through this evolution, and Neptune is now leaving Aquarius and coming into Pisces, what is it going to do? See, so if we're looking at Neptune, which rules all creative spirits, actors, musicians, and dancers, and just anything where you can visualize and be creative. It's also the healers, the empathetic souls, and having Neptune come in there now, how can we use the software? How can we bring it out and create the next generation of inventions? We probably won't be able to teleport at the end of this 15-year cycle. Probably not. That's a big leap to do. But you get the drift. 3D TVs are already hitting the market. So that's holographic TV, We're going to see amazing things. And within the healing arts, Neptune and Pisces rule medicine, surgery, all of those things as well. We will find new ways to heal, and maybe it's like these Chinese doctors that have hospitals with no medicine. They just go in and they tune in on a specific sound healing. They will actually be able to implode any tumors within 3 minutes. Go figure. Go check it out on YouTube. In 3 minutes, they can just vanish a tumor by using sound, because everything is frequency. Now coming into Pisces here with Neptune, it's all going to be more and more about frequencies and how we tune in to the higher mind. Like the old saying has said that we only use 10 to 15% of our consciousness, or of our brain, not consciousness, brain. As we evolve now with our consciousness, we're going to be embodying more of what we have here, more of that capacity. We're starting to tune in to the higher selves, our higher consciousness, not just using the 7 chakras, which pretty much mostly involves our physical body, except for the upper 2. But we have a 12-strand, a 15-strand chakra system. These are going to be activating, and we will see how that's going to be unfolding. And we'll see how the scientific community is going to be changing. They have already started to take some big leaps. We can look at quantum physicists, which are thinking outside of the physicist boxes. They're taking that leap beyond. And it's fascinating to see that we will have this new generation with us. Because if we look at the old-time scientific mind, they would be restricted. They were proud to be skeptical. And what does it mean to be skeptical? Which is good. That's something we all need to have as a part of who we are. But if they are overly skeptical, they're shutting themselves off for other potential, which is beyond, which is meta. That's why we say metaphysical. Meta in Greek means beyond. So beyond the physical. And then you can say quantum physical, which is the major leaps beyond the metaphysical. So, I mean, we're growing as one in the super consciousness where we're all putting in our information data into this super mind that we're all going to be benefiting from. Back to the skeptical people, and why is that? If they're only using the capacity of the inner planets, which is Mercury, Venus, Earth, of course, Mars, Jupiter, and then Saturn, that's where it ends. They all rule the 5 physical senses. Hearing, smelling, touching, feeling, sensing. But see, then it stops right there. Saturn has rings, it restricts, right? Now, there's rings, there's space on the inside of the rings, and there's space outside of the rings. And what happens outside of Saturn? This is where Uranus, Neptune, Pluto comes in. Uranus also has rings, but Uranus is also the only planet that lays on its side with rings going this way. So it's also called the planet of rebellion, which wants to make a right angle and start thinking in new ways, which is really exciting. And this is why Uranus will often come into our lives with shocking events, unexpected events. Whether it's good or bad, Uranus doesn't care. It's all about shocking you out of your old paradigm so you can burst open to a new paradigm, thinking, taking in different things. Now, you could see in the Old Testament or in the old biblical times where you would have these masters with rings, halos around their head. A halo means whole. They were whole beings. Already back then, before these planets were detected, they were already downloading inspirations from Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So they were whole, holy. And so Uranus will open us up to a higher dimension of communication. And it is the higher octave of Mercury, excuse me. Mercury being the linear way to communicate, one-on-one. It's very slow. It's face-to-face, word by word, and it's time-consuming. You go from here to there linearly. Now, Uranus will be here. It's a tripolar point. Uranus is clear vision, and clear audient. It will see things on this level here. It will see the past and the future all at once. It will download that information all at once. You can say Uranus is zip files that we download in our instantaneous knowing. Mercury has to go the linear way, page by page through a book. It's a very slow way of learning. Whereas when you tune in to your higher consciousness with Uranus, it downloads. Same thing with the Neptune. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, which rules love and values what we value in life. Neptune being the higher aspect of that love is where we find forgiveness and where we find compassion and where we are all embracive to people that we meet. We recognize them as being people coming out from past lives. We remember. And incorporating this Neptune, which everybody now is going to start sensing and feeling. They will start feeling that when they meet a soulmate, that there's something they can recognize. They will become more intuitive. Neptune rules intuition. So we're going to have a totally different interaction with people around us over these next years. We can see probably that movies will be changing. We won't have so much of all this violence, but we'll have love, we will have growth, we will have movies that probably are more spiritual in the sense of reincarnation. Even the networks now are coming in with these new vibes with mediums and ghost hunters, UFOs, and everything that's like out there on the edge and on the verge. And nobody's going to be considered as crazy just because they have their higher chakras open to the gods, so to speak, because we are all part of that co-creator God within ourselves. And now we're going to start really joining together and using this. Now look at children that have been born from late 70s coming in now. They're born with an open awareness. You know, that's why we call them the indigos or star children or crystal children. They have this consciousness within them. They're highly creative. So look to your children and be very supportive when they want to use technology, use that Uranian factor to network and create new genius inventions. They're way ahead of us old timers because they have it. We learn from them. So it's going to be exciting to see where they're going to be leading us throughout the year. That said, we have Saturn moving now in Scorpio. The last 2.5 years it was in Libra, so everybody was having a little bit of a tough time balancing groups, balancing people and relationships, being stuck in the middle or being too much on this side or that side. But now it's like that has healed itself. There's a new focus, which is more direct and deeper. It's in Scorpio, and Scorpio wants to go to the bottom of things. It will turn every single stone to find its answer. So having Saturn there, Saturn is also our own inner authority as well as external authority. It wants to investigate, it wants to know, it will not let go before it finds its answer. So many of you will find yourself a little bit more intense in your seeking, so to speak. So that's going to be a huge factor. We can look at the political field. We have that Pluto Saturn, which is going to steer things a little bit up on governmental levels, especially because Saturn rules Capricorn and Pluto rules Scorpio. So they're kind of interacting with each other in a mutual reception, which empowers them both, actually. So whatever changes we see on a global, governmental level, globally, is all for the good. What needs to go, and we will see things go. Pluto will make sure of that. Pluto's all about death and rebirth. What no longer serves a purpose will no longer be able to exist. So, and put Uranus to the factors, squaring there with Pluto. Uranus will not tolerate anything that's oppressive. And where there has been governmental rulers that have been suppressing, depressing its people, Uranus will come right like that and will create this oppression to back to liberation. It liberates anything that is stagnant and old and has no longer any purposes, even though it did in the past. So we have that, and those are the major things that I see now for 2013, is all the new creativity that we have. All you creators out there, go do your thing and have a genuine, happy time with it. You Geminis have Jupiter in your sign, so that only happens once every 12 years. So I want you to celebrate this year and make the most out of it with your journeys. Jupiter rules journeys, people, and foreign places, and higher education, and everything that's just of abundance. Jupiter is very abundant. So good for you guys. You're lucking out. So you will see how your lives are going to be expanding, especially after January 30th, when Jupiter starts going directly again, or direct, out of its retrograde motion. So for now, I just want to wish you, once again, Happy New Year. We will be checking on your solar scopes, so be sure to hit subscribe and have your solar scopes come when they're all ready. So until then, goodbye for now.